This is the first in a series of videos about the factions in Attila. I will of course be covering them all alphabetically, starting with the Alans. For generals options, we have the Germanic nobles. They are not good sword infantry. They are lacking in armor, melee attack and charge bonus. They are more a supporting unit than anything. The better option, in my opinion, will be the Alani general. Not a whole lot of armor and melee defense, but a charge bonus of 172 and 284 health means that this guy is going to be the bane of infantry. You just need to keep him away from good melee cavalry and spears and he will do fine. For spears we have the Germanic levy. Very low morale, next to no armor. You get a vastly superior unit if you upgrade the Germanic levies to the Germanic spears. They do not have precursors, but just look at the stats here. 29, 32, 29, 24, 32, 24. A bit lower melee defense on the Germanic spears, but their extra armor, health is more than worth it. Then we have the Germanic Spearmasters, and a nice ability that the Spearmasters have is the Headhunt. Headhunt is going to make the unit unbreakable for 30 seconds. They also have 2 missiles, so these can be very useful units against enemy cavalry. Great armor, good health, and just an all-round good spear unit, if a bit on the expensive side. The Germanic pikes are pikes. They're not very good. Can be useful they are very cheap, so they can be useful for screening the front of your army against enemy cavalry. When we get to melee infantry, we have the noble Germanic swordsmen, and these guys are kind of like Roman infantry in that they have a very low charge bonus, decent health and morale, but overall not a great unit. The Sarmatian warband is a vastly superior unit, and you don't really pay much extra for the Sarmatian warband. Great melee attack, good weapon damage, good armor, health, morale, just an all-round solid unit, and it also has missiles, so it makes no sense bringing the noble Germanic swordsmen in my opinion. Then we have the infantry killing specialists, and these Agathyrsi warriors will murder enemy infantry if they don't get charged by cavalry or shot by missiles. They have 2 missiles themselves. They have not the best morale, they have poor health, poor armor, but their charge bonus and melee damage is amazing, and they also scare units, and they can inflict, they are immune to fear. Now the elite Agathyrsi warriors will be the superior choice. They have more health, they have more morale, they're a bit slower, but they have headhunt, so these guys can stay in the fight for a long time, do a lot of damage to enemy infantry. Same thing applies with the Agathyrsi, the elite Agathyrsi warriors. Don't get them charged by enemy cavalry, preferably don't get them charged by enemy infantry. If they can attack in an engagement that is already underway, they will do great. Just don't expect them to do too much against enemy cavalry, but their charge bonus is immense. Axes are a bit special in that they have more damage now than they used to have in Rome 2. They have a lot of armor piercing, very good if they can flank, but a super fragile unit with low health and armor. The Germanic warband is an upgrade for the it's medium axe infantry compared to the light axe infantry of the Germanic band. The Germanic warband is a superior choice. It also scares units, and is immune to fear, so potentially very useful. They also have Frenzy, that's going to increase their melee attack by 10. Not as good as Frenzy was in Rome 2. The Alans have a very complete roster, and that is made apparent by their bow infantry. They have very cheap Germanic bows, not much to say about them. You get very cheap bows with a fairly low damage potential and range. Then you have the Germanic hunters. They have precision shot, which is nice. Germanic archers and elite Germanic archers have beastly range. You can't see it on the unit cards, but if you go into the encyclopedia, you can see that both of these units have 200 range. So the longest range of any ranged unit in the game. Now, they do fall a bit short in terms of killing power, but they can be useful against enemy horse archers. They have rapid advance, the elite Germanic archers, so they can kite very well. It's just that with their 18 ammunition, they can do damage into the rear of enemy units. They can do damage to cavalry with flaming shots, but overall they could be a very nice unit depending on how you use them. They also have crossbows, and crossbows are infantry killers extraordinaire. If you use precision shot, barrage, and heavy shot, you can do a lot of damage to enemy infantry, but against enemy infantry that has a high missile block chance, and there are a lot of those units in the game, they're not going to do too well, and they are also very expensive. Germanic hurlers, low ammo, high rate of fire, decent range, good against archers and crossbows, pikes, any unit that doesn't have armor. They have a high amount of missile damage, but 0 of that missile damage is AP. If we compare that to the Germanic crossbows, they have 65 missile damage and a massive 50 is AP. Then we have the skirmishers, and they have a nice set of abilities. Campaign stealth, not really relevant for multiplayer, but they have guerrilla deployment, so they can deploy outside of the deployment zone. They can hide. They ignore terrain speed penalties, so they can move really fast. It would be nice if these guys had rapid advance as well. They can snipe, but it's going to be super hard to use snipe with the Cavalry unit because you have to get so close. The Alans have a very nice roster of melee cavalry as well. The Germanic mounted warband is cheap, but they are an inferior choice to the Alani horsemen in terms of just about every single stat that matters when it comes to cavalry. Very fast, potentially useful for chasing down skirmishers, but if you need to get some infantry killing done, you're probably going to want Alani horsemen or Germanic horsemen, noble Alani cavalry, or Taifali cavalry. These Taifali cavalry are really good against enemy cavalry. They have rapid advance. They also have expert charge defense, interestingly enough. Then we get to the noble Germanic horsemen, and they are great against enemy infantry and cavalry. If you use these guys in their diamond formation, they can slaughter shock cavalry. Then the elite Agathyrsi cavalry, very high melee attack. Their melee damage is good, a lot of armor piercing. They don't have a good attack against enemy cavalry, so these are infantry killing specialists. They are not great for killing enemy cavalry, but they are very good for killing enemy infantry. Shock cavalry, we have cheap Germanic lancers, can do a lot of damage with their 187 charge bonus. You just don't want to keep these guys in for an extended period of time, but they will absolutely wreck swords. Same goes for the Sarmatian cataphracts. They are a bit sturdier than the Germanics. Higher charge bonus, you get a more sturdy cavalry unit. They also have the wedge formation. Then we get to the elite Sarmatian cataphracts. They have 1 ammunition, they have more armor, more health, better charge bonus, but they are heavy shock cavalry. They will absolutely murder light cavalry and sword units on the charge. Still, they are super expensive, and I would much rather like to see the funds being spent on a combination of melee cavalry and shock cavalry rather than just going for the elite shock cavalry with the Alans. We have cataphract horse archers, 27 armor, a lot of health, a decent amount of ammunition, but these Greyharis and the Sarmatian cataphract horse archers, they are super expensive, and although they can do a lot of damage for an extended period of time, use rapid advance to get out of sticky situations, I just don't see the killing potential in these units compared to the melee cavalry units. And in terms of skirmish cavalry has a nice set of abilities that they can't really use to great effect. They have, a lot of them have the guerrilla deployment, they have the snipe ability, but with short range and with lacking Parthian shot, these javelin cavalry units are much less effective than the javelin cavalry of Rome 2. Although their missile damage is substantial, they run out of ammunition really quickly against shields. They don't do much, and they can be very hard to use against cavalry because they cannot use Parthian shots. The Warhounds are potentially cool units. They come with spears, but there are only 30 spears in the unit, so they are not going to be able to do much in melee. These war dogs and warhounds are strong units. And the game really wants to tell you that these guys have warhounds because they are in the warhound category. It says that the unit has war dogs. It's very heavy warhounds. There is an icon saying here that there are animals in the unit. So CA is telling you in multiple ways that warhounds have dogs. They don't tell you the range of ranged units, so that's CA for you. So let's have a look at what these units look like in battle. I'm not going to do a battle here, I'm just going to show the different units, because there are some great looking units in the Alani roster. They have to be looked at up close to appreciate them. The Battle of Plains, the Nematosana of Attila. So, let's start in the center here with the Germanic Brigands. Look like a band of brigands. There are also women in the unit, which is cool. Then we have the Germanic Knight Raiders. They have a nice set of abilities, but again, they are so expensive for what they do. Germanic Raiders, same thing can be said about them. Then we have the range units, the Germanic crossbows. You can see that they are outranged significantly by the hurlers and the elite Germanic archers. Elite Germanic archers, potentially a very cool unit. Here are the dogs, huge dogs with spears. Questionable use, they die massively to cavalry and infantry, can be useful against skirmishers, but spend the funds on cavalry instead. Then we have the Germanic Spearmasters. Also mustaches on these guys. They also have very good defensive capabilities against cavalry. And if they get charged in a disadvantageous position, you can make them hold for 30 seconds while using headhunt. So very useful. The Germanic Spearmen are a significant upgrade from the Germanic Levy. Then we have the Sarmatian Warband, another really cool looking unit. Decent melee. Noble Germanic swords are completely outclassed by the Sarmatian Warband. Then we have the Agathyrsi warriors with Folxes. Again, really cool looking unit. Elite Agathyrsi warriors. Agathyrsi, okay, Agathyrsi. Really cool, will murder enemy infantry on the charge. Then we have the Germanic band with women as well. They scare enemy units, they don't scare enemy units, but the Germanic War Band scares enemy units. And they have they are a better unit. But these units don't like cavalry, they don't like missiles, they don't like head-on engagements against infantry. Then we have the Grey Hairs. Another really cool looking unit of old horse archers with armor. But again, horse archers, not as effective as they were in Rome 2. Then we have the cavalry, Sarmatian cataphracts, awesome unit to take care of enemy infantry. Agathyrsi cavalry with axes, great armor piercing, really good against infantry on the charge. Don't be afraid to keep these guys in melee for quite some time, because they are going to murder enemy infantry. The Taifali cavalry. Why these guys only have 2 ammo is beyond my ability to comprehend. If they had a full quiver of arrows, they would be really nice. Even if they only had like 5 or 10 arrows, it would be much better than the 2 arrows they possess currently. Germanic horsemen, they look like an underwhelming unit, but they can do a lot of damage because they are heavy melee cavalry. And when they use the diamond formation, they do very well against enemy shock cavalry. Germanic Mounted Warband, I don't see the use of this unit compared to the Germanic Horsemen. The Germanic Horsemen are better in every single way. Let's see, and then, okay, we have the Pikes, the Germanic Pikes. A very cheap unit that can potentially block off a portion of the battlefield. And using Pikes together with the together with the Agathyrsi warriors can be a deadly combination if you keep the pikes in front of the Agathyrsi to stop them getting charged. Then charge the Agathyrsi out through the pikes. Then you get a very deadly combination. The pikes don't have great offensive capabilities, but they can screen away enemy cavalry and allow your Agathyrsi to get into combat unmolested. So those are the Alani units. I quite like the Alans. They are strong faction with a well-rounded roster. I hope some changes are done to horse skirmishers and horse archers, potentially also to archers. These elite Germanic archers have great range. It's just that they run out of ammo really quickly and they struggle to do a lot of damage against infantry and cavalry. But bringing the Alans is going to allow you to bring a well-rounded roster with both melee strengths, specialist units, very good cavalry, and a nice skirmishing component. So the Alans, definitely a strong faction. It's a bit early to say which of the factions are real power factions, because most of the factions have good cavalry, most of the factions have good infantry. The Alans are potentially the strongest foot skirmish faction in the game due to their elite Germanic archers. They can wreck crossbows, for example. Then we have the Germanic crossbowmen that can do a lot of damage against infantry. But overall, the strength of the Alani roster lies in melee cavalry and in the good Germanic units. And if you can start racking up the kills with Agathyrsi and scare units when using scare units with the Agathyrsi as well, it can cause some severe morale problems for the enemy. So that was the Alani roster. Strength and honor.